Sunny Hostin, if you are so big on freedom, how about I bring my guns in here, lock, stock, and barrel? That's my freedom. How about that? Would that be okay with you? And I bet you that wench would come up with a whole different set of criteria of what she calls freedom versus regulation. They wouldn't regulate that.
You remember when the View co-host referred, we talked about this on the show. She referred to white suburban women that vote Republican as cockroaches. She also said Republicans, actually Black Republican, is an oxymoron. And now she opines some more about what it means to be a conservative and a champion of freedom. Take a look here.
Conservatism was always about limited government. Conservatism was always about more freedom. And so if you are taking freedom away from women to purchase an abortion pill, that's less freedom. If you are taking away from parents the freedom to take their kids to a drag brunch if they want to, that's less freedom. So all of this flies in the face of what a DeSantis or the Republican Party generally would believe in. I think what they're looking for is the hubris that we saw in this conservative Supreme Court.
So, a lot to unpack there. So, specifically, she's talking about two things. She's talking about, as we've seen all over the country, they are now selling these abortion pills in pharmacies where you can go right in over the counter and purchase them and take this pill and cancel a pregnancy. Also, she's also talking about in Florida, recently Governor DeSantis has, I believe he's making it illegal for venues to hold drag brunches where children are in the presence. And so actually this came into action where he took a restaurant's liquor license because they were holding a drag brunch and they had children at the drag brunch. So I want to start with you, Shelley, on this, because we know you're the patriot of us all on the show. Does she have a point? Is this idea of these types of policies limiting freedom?
Yeah. What she's doing is what the left does well. She's being very deceptive and she's being slick with the wording and then juxtaposing it, if you will, against these concepts. What she also misses, and she does it on purpose, is that conservatives are generally, they want freedom and they want limited government, but they also have a hierarchy that children and family are right under that principle of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. See, the life comes before the liberty. You have to be alive to attain and strive for the liberty. So if the children are dead or whomever is not alive, they can't get the freedom. So she again, she's doing this on purpose. So conservatives have always been focused on children, protecting children, because they are the innocent among us. That is a conservative principle as well. So again, Sunny Hostin, or however you pronounce her name, she knows what she's doing. She's being slick, and it's not the arrogance of the Republican Party. It's her arrogance and her party's hubris that's always at the fore.
Yeah. So I want to get your thoughts on this, Yana. I mean, is this a manipulation, or does she have a point? Specifically to the idea of Governor DeSantis, saying that if you have a drag brunch where children are in the presence, he's taking your liquor license in Florida. What are your thoughts on what she said in that type of policy?
She's conflating a lot of ideas. So she's saying free conservatism, and then she says freedom. Okay, so, but first of all, conservatives, yes, we believe in freedom of state freedom. So states have a right to decide how to run their business within the state. That's the freedom. We have the freedom to vote our representatives, and our representatives will decide on how, what we do within our state. The government, the federal government cannot come in and dictate their laws everywhere. So that is the freedom. What she's referring is not freedom, is being libertine. It's different from necessarily from freedom the way conservatives see it. Being libertine is just not having any restraint whatsoever, and just going into this life of debauchery and complete what do you like? I mean, I'm trying to think of like other ways to explain what that means, but what that means is allowing children inside places where they're really sexualizing children. So the next thing what she's going to say, what I mean logically, is that you can have sexual relations with children because well, why limit freedom, right? Like, I mean, so that's the next step. So it's really scary, you know, that somebody would be promoting a lifestyle like this everywhere.
I mean, and you hear, I mean, I'm surprised that she even has a comment on the way someone runs, you know, a government official putting down a policy on a business, on a private business, because she didn't have a problem with the president and governors all across the country closing down businesses during the pandemic. She didn't have you know how many businesses have closed right now? Just here in Maryland, when I go through and see business after business has closed because they couldn't make any money during the pandemic because they were forced closed by government officials. She didn't comment about that.
Right. I would love to, number one, there are laws all across the country that you can't take children, underage children, into certain venues. So that's already established. But I would love to have been able to ask Sunny Hostin, if you're so big on freedom, how about I bring my guns in here, lock, stock, and barrel? That's my freedom. How about that? Would that be okay with you? And I bet you that wench would come up with a whole different set of criteria of what she calls freedom versus regulation. They wouldn't regulate that. They want to pick and choose which parts of the Constitution they want to uphold and then limit others. But when conservatives say no, we want to protect children, and these are nowhere in the Constitution that says abortions are guaranteed. But it does say in our declaration, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, exactly. So I think she's manipulative, she's nasty, and she's counting on people to be uneducated. That's what she's counting on. And sadly, we do have an uneducated public. So, you know, this is where I want to get, you know, we need to be pushed back against her nonsense, because that's what they spew on this show. I don't even understand how it's still on air. But that's why you have us to watch Poppin' Politics every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. This is us here right on YouTube. So check us out here. We're here. Share this broadcast. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't just watch the video and not subscribe. We need the subscriptions, because that's what raises our voice and gets our opinions and our news out there. So if you believe in independent media, share this broadcast and subscribe.